Welcome back, guys. I trust you've been staying safe. Now, I'm sure you are well aware of the current lawsuit filed by Janel Grant, a former WWE employee, against Vince McMahon of the WWE. If you are not familiar with that case, just go to my playlist. You have it there. You'd also have another video detailing out the background of Janel Grant as a person and how come she seems to have such a backbone to fight this battle against Vince McMahon and the WWE. But then, as this case is unraveling, one other person that was mentioned in the case as having perpetrated these negative acts of intimacy against Janel Grant is John Laurinitis. But there is a twist, because in a shocking turn of events, at least for me, John Laurinitis, through his lawyer, is trying to claim he's a victim. And that is what I'm going to analyze today. So, John Laurinitis is actually a co-defendant in the lawsuit that was issued by Janel Grant. And his lawyer is claiming that John Laurinitis is a victim of Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon of the WWE. I don't know if you agree with this, but I don't. I don't agree that John Laurinitis is a victim, and I'm going to explain why. I've taken a stand and I'm going to explain why I believe he's not a victim. At the end of it, you can also let me know if you agree he's not a victim or if you think he's actually a victim and you disagree with me. Let's all agree to disagree, right? Yeah. So before I get into my reasons, let's first get to hear the statement that John Laurinitis' lawyer by name Brennan issued out. So his lawyer is called Edward Brennan, and this is what he said, or this is what the statement said. Mr. Laurinitis denies the allegations in the misguided complaint and will be vigorously defending these charges in court, not the media. Like the plaintiff, Mr. Laurinitis is a victim in this case, not a predator. The truth will come out. So on this, his lawyer was asked a question that, how is he a victim? Then he went on to explain again that, I quote, read the allegations, read the federal statute, power, control, employment, supervisory capacity, dictatorial intimacy demands with repercussions if not met. Count how many times in the complaint Vince exerts control over both of them. Now, both of them here is referring to Janel Grant and John Laurinitis. So, that is the statement. Now, this is why I don't agree that John Laurinitis is a victim. First of all, let's look at Janel Grant in her capacity. 2019, she joins the WWE as a starter employee, and per her lawsuit, Vince McMahon is making all these unfounded and irresponsible intimate advances towards her. Now, if we look at the power dynamics between Vince McMahon and Janel Grant, it seems more believable that Vince McMahon could coerce Janel Grant. Although I'm not saying that is what it is. I've said it in my previous videos. Investigations are ongoing, so we are waiting to see how it pans out, and even if it will get to court, what the verdict will be. But just for analysis sake, power dynamics between Janel Grant and Vince McMahon clearly makes it obvious that Vince McMahon has a stronger position to coerce Janel Grant. And even her have eventually found a backbone to file this lawsuit against him. Kudos to her, right? Yeah. Let's put that aside and bring in the supposed second victim, John Laurinitis. John Laurinitis was in a leadership capacity in the WWE. At a point, he was the general manager of Raw. This guy was one of the top guys in WWE. Although Vince McMahon was still more powerful than him in rank and in influence in the wrestling industry as far as the WWE is concerned. But then, I don't believe that John Laurinitis was so vulnerable and so unprotected to the point that Vince McMahon could coerce him to engage in these immoral acts with and against Janel Grant. I don't agree. He is trying to play victim seemingly through the statements his lawyer issued, so he also saves himself, thereby making Vincent Kennedy McMahon the ultimate bad guy. Now, if it turns out these charges or these things that have been elaborated in Janel Grant's lawsuit are true, then it means that Vince McMahon he's just lost at sea. He will have no way of escaping this. And by so doing, some of the heat now extends to John Laurinitis and maybe even Brock Lesnar, who is being rumored to be that wrestler who was referred to in Janel Grant's lawsuit. Now, if that is going to be the case, it looks like John Laurinitis is trying to chicken out by also now playing victim. So Vince McMahon takes the heat and he probably gets a lesser heat, or maybe even no heat at all. Because of course, he is also a victim, right? No, he isn't. I think that he enjoyed what he was doing. He's a married man. He got engaged in 2015 to the mother of the Bella twins. So he's actually their stepdad. He's a married man and he knows the essence of sticking to your vows. Aside that, he's a full-grown man and he understands the concept of what she was being forced to do with him. If he didn't like it, he could have just walked away. There is nowhere in the lawsuit or any research I've done that states that Vince McMahon was forcing him to do anything or making him do something under duress. He would have to provide evidence of same because Janel Grant has her receipts. She seemingly through text messages and other things is able to provide proof or evidence that corroborates some of the things that she's saying, if not all. What about John Laurinitis? What does he have? Well, his lawyer has said that they will fight it in court. But that fight or that statement of they fighting it in court was more directed towards the claims being made in the lawsuit of Janel Grant. None of that is pointing to Vince McMahon, unless, of course, by they fighting those claims, they would also be exposing Vince McMahon as the ultimate bad guy, and by extension, clarifying that John Laurinitis is a victim. If that is the case, then I'll believe it when I see it. But from where I sit, and as far as what I've seen and what I know through my research, I don't think John Laurinitis is a victim. I think he enjoyed what he was doing. He enjoyed what his boss was offering him, and he did it to full capacity without reporting it, without stopping it or choosing to take a stand not to partake in it, and even at best or worst, walking away from the industry or the company altogether. These are all options that he had. But he didn't take any of that. He continued to partake in it. That is assuming what Janel Grant is saying in her lawsuit is true. So I don't think that John Laurinitis is a victim. I think he was a willing participant and he is now trying to chicken out of taking responsibility and being held accountable for his actions in conjunction with Mr. Vince McMahon now that the heat is coming. All this is based on the preamble that we are assuming Janel Grant is telling the truth. Because if she is, then John Laurinitis, according to where I sit and what I see, is no victim of Vince McMahon. he was an equal and willing participant. Now, the lawsuit is not just against Vince McMahon, the WWE, and John Laurinitis. Apparently, it also extends to some other employees of the WWE company. So there are interesting days ahead. Now, tell me what you think. Do you think John Laurinitis was a willing participant or he was a victim? You know, a classic case of this had to do with the Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrandt case. They both participated in the whole thing, but when push came to shove and the law came in to deliver justice, Ruby Frankie was trying to throw Jody Hildebrandt under the bus by trying to play that she was a victim of Jody, making Jody Hildebrandt the ultimate bad woman. But I think that will not fly in this case. Unless John Laurinitis also has his own receipts, which he can pull up to exonerate himself against Janel Grant's lawsuit and by extension expose Vince McMahon. I don't even, if she's telling the truth, I don't think he can exonerate himself from his claims. I think he can provide some form of evidence that would make it seem like he was also forced to do what he did to her by Vince McMahon, thereby trying to sort of push a narrative that any repercussions of what he, John Laurinitis, has done should rather be pinned on Vince McMahon because, sorry, it seems Vince McMahon would then be the ultimate puppet master. Yeah, right? Like the producer of whatever happened. Interesting. And with all these cited in Janel Grant's lawsuits, now it looks like some clips from the WWE, some promo cuts and all are beginning to make deeper sense than they did when we first watched them without knowing all these things stated in the lawsuit. Is it a coincidence? I don't know. But let's not forget that John Laurinitis, through his lawyer, has said that he's going to fight this in court and not on the media. So I'm not surprised we haven't heard anything else from him in terms of his defense, his evidence and other things, apart from he just trying to portray he's a victim. So he could actually be a victim based on evidence that he would show later on. But as it stands now, per what I've seen, I definitely do not agree that he is a victim, and I dismiss that defense irrespective of who it will come from, unless of course he starts showing receipts, which will then begin to convince me. What do you think about this case? I think that this case should go to its full extent. I'm really hoping Janel Grant won't take an outside of court settlement. I'll be very disappointed in her if she does, because she has started a fight and she's saying she's doing this to also help other women to come out. If that's the case, please don't let any cash convince you. Finish the fight. Finish the story. All right. So I'll leave it here for now. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe out there.